Get a load of this color. With a name like Navy Masterpiece, I'm surprised I haven't reviewed it sooner. What am I doing, guys? Could this be the future of Navy? I mean, it just might be. Like, I'm not even being hyperbolic about this. Is that the right use of that word? This Benjamin Moore paint color called Navy Masterpiece is a deep, rich navy that works well as a bold statement in any room. Its color code is 1652, and it's part of the Benjamin Moore Classics collection. It's also another one of those colors that has another name and color code, just to confuse all of us. So if you're familiar with Narragansett Green, ooh, that's a tough one, HC 157, it's identical to this one. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to refer to it as Navy Masterpiece. Can you guess why? What I'll do today is tell you some technical stuff about the color. I also want to share some ideas regarding how to use it in your home, especially inside. The way I'm going to do that is by also giving you 3 color pairings that I've picked and 2 trim color options that I think suit it really, really well. Call me your own private color connoisseur. All for the very low price of one press of that like button. And I know I keep asking you, but believe you me, it does wonders for our channel's growth. And I suppose uploading 6 videos a week doesn't really hurt either. Subscribe to stay up to date. All right, let's get into it. So, surprise, surprise, Navy Masterpiece isn't totally navy. I do kind of think it's a masterpiece though, because it is beautifully rich with blue. It has a bit of warm green as well, and some black mixed in too, just to sort of shade the color ever so slightly. And that helps bring its depth and its LRV really low. When selecting any navy blue specifically, it's always important to take into consideration the undertones. And Navy Masterpiece has a slightly warmer, more muted blue tone compared to other navy blues, almost to the point where you can see the slightest bit of green peeking through. It does this while still maintaining its boldness. And Benjamin Moore even refers to it as a blackened teal more so than a true navy blue. Our subscribers are probably familiar with some of the other prominent navy blues within the Benjamin Moore catalog, including colors like Gentleman's Gray and Hale Navy. Those are sort of the big 2 that I see circulating. And I want to bring those up on the screen so you can see the difference between all 3 of these colors. Hale Navy is clearly the furthest thing away from being warm or teal leaning, while Gentleman's Gray is blue with a touch of yellow mixed in to liven it up and energize it. And then of course, Navy Masterpiece takes things into a much tealer direction. More teal. You certainly see more green happening with it, but I also feel it does share Hale Navy's slightly foggy, smoky, blackened quality as well. So there is a connection between the 3. Navy Masterpiece can be used in a variety of ways, from a full living room color to an accent wall in a master bedroom. This color is versatile enough to be used in modern and traditional decor, making it a great choice for a variety of styles. Additionally, it also pairs really well with both light and dark accent colors that can be used to create a warm and inviting atmosphere. Obviously, Navy Masterpiece isn't warm, but the idea is, because it's so deep and cool, maybe you can incorporate some other warm colors as well with it. It's also a pretty interesting choice for trim and door casings, I find, as it provides a really crisp, sharp contrast with lighter wall colors, which you might already be incorporating. And if you are using it on your trim, then I would recommend going for a glossier or a shinier finish for something a bit more classic. But I've also seen more and more people experiment with flatter or matte trim, meaning they're using lower sheen levels for an alternative or more chalky look. But just make sure that if you're doing that, get something washable. So you got to go with those higher end products that give you a flat finish that you can actually wipe and wash, because your baseboards, they get dirty. I'm sorry. You could also use Navy Masterpiece on furniture pieces, as it can make a bold statement without overpowering the rest of the room's decor. If you're using it on your walls, you'll see it everywhere. But if it's just in little pockets, like a nice chair, a nice little, I don't know, a dresser, an antique secretary you want to paint, why not?
Raz, my tender, oozing blossom, you're looking fabulous today. Is that a new haircut?
Well, isn't that nice?
A little tip is, if you are selecting furniture pieces to go with this color, consider pairing it with light colored woods like maple or birch, just to add a touch of warmth and also take some of that burden away from that dark color. But if you do want to lean into darker woods like walnut or mahogany, that will create a more prestigious look. So you're just sort of doubling down on the depth. I would exercise a touch of caution when considering this for something like your kitchen cabinets, only because you could run into a little problem where maybe you were expecting more of a traditional navy blue and then you got teal, or maybe you liked the teal aspect of this color but then you got more blue because of your kitchen's lighting and whatever. Everything depends on how your space is set up, and also those lighting conditions are probably the most important piece of that puzzle. Based on my experience, I have noticed that more often than not, colors will tend to feel a little bit cooler in person, generally, because more and more people are opting for brighter fluorescent or LED lighting, and they're moving a little bit away from your traditional incandescent bulbs that are a lot more amber color. But if you are strongly considering it for your kitchen, be sure to test it out before shelling out the dough to get your kitchen sprayed out. My favorite time of the video, it's color pairings. We got 3 other Benjamin Moore paint colors that I selected as partners for Navy Masterpiece, and you can think of these pairings in a number of different ways. The simplest method of pairing them together is by having them within your full color palette of your home. So maybe Navy Masterpiece is in the bedroom, and then a color like Horizon could be a connecting bathroom color. That's our first color pairing, by the way. It was a very slick segue. I like Horizon as a very super light color pairing that plays off of that greeny blue aspect of Navy Masterpiece. It's insanely lighter than the other color, with more than 60 points difference in the light reflectance value. And just so you know, the closer a color gets to 100 on that little scale, the more it'll appear white. And the fact that Horizon is sitting around a 73 and Navy Masterpiece is all the way down at 9, that's going to be a huge level of contrast for different spaces in your home. In fact, the example that I gave is actually a pretty solid option that I would consider, because I tend to gravitate towards those darker, moodier colors in a bedroom, and then something lighter in the bathroom where maybe I want to feel energized when I'm doing my morning routine. And a lighter color will do that by reflecting a bunch of light back into the space. It's also an easy color to combine as a wall and accent color pairing. More traditionally, you might have Horizon on 3 walls, and then Navy Masterpiece could be the wall behind your headboard, like on your bed. But another idea is to do the exact opposite. Try having the lighter color as your accent, kind of like an anti-accent. Could work. Next up, we have Manchester Tan, which is one of Benjamin Moore's best-selling colors. I added this one in because I think it would be helpful to incorporate some warmth back into the palette. And a color like this just feels solid and classy and fairly timeless. It's a well-balanced beige mainly, but it also has a touch of gray to help it feel kind of current. And you'll really feel the difference between it and the other colors that we talked about, because the warmth is going to complement the blue aspect in the others. Speaking of compliment, I hope a lot of you will compliment me for picking Fading Twilight as my 3rd color pairing. Because look at it, it's so nice. Just look at it.
Oh, would you look at this?
Yeah, well...
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
This one's interesting because it has a bit more complexity than you might originally think. It just sort of seems like a red brick color, but there's a bit of brown mixed in. There's also a hint of purple hiding somewhere. It does a great job at pulling out the green in Navy Masterpiece because of that complementary red undertone found in this color. And it'll do it so much so that I think Navy Masterpiece will look more like a teal masterpiece. Why do I do this to myself? I have 2 trim colors that I think would work really well. The choice for most people would be a color like White Wisp, which is a gentle, kind of cool off-white that won't feel too jarring, kind of like a bright stark white would. And then my dark option is sort of a lighter variation of Navy Masterpiece. It's called Provence Blue. Because it's lighter, it does have a little more of an airy feeling to it, but it's still on the dark side of midtones. So objectively, still a bit dark. You will notice a difference between the two for sure, but overall, it'll be a little more soft and subtle than a stark white baseboard, for example. Here's the palette all together. Let me know what you think, and here's another one for your viewing pleasure. Benjamin Moore Color Quickie coming right at you.